Okay, we are going to take a look at our incubation process right now. We're going to grab a couple of these eggs that have different check marks and dots. These have already been candled one time, but this check mark shows that this originally had a viable embryo. We're going to place the egg on top of a flashlight, and that's just a typical candle experience. Place the flashlight under there, and you should start to see a little embryo floating around inside the egg. So take a look at that. This is a viable egg. He is in there moving around. Sorry for the video, but you will see him move. See the little black? Again, this is about 12 days in the incubation process. All right, we are about 5 more days into this. This is moving on to about day 15 to 17, I believe is where we're at. I want to show you the difference between a viable egg and a non-viable egg. Here is an X egg originally when we candled them. You'll notice that the shell has nothing inside of it. It's pretty clear, so we know that that one doesn't have a viable egg. Let's check another one. Here, let's open this one and see if this one's viable. All right, again, you should start to see a black shadow. This one, I believe, is viable as well. But take a look at that. You have to watch and see if you see the shadow come through. What do you think is? Is this one a viable one or a non-viable egg? Watch that black shadow. That one was not a viable egg. Okay, let's try this one. Let's see if you can see whether or not this egg has a viable embryo in it. Let's candle it. And sometimes moving the light around helps a little bit, but let's kind of reposition this and see if we see anything else. All right, let's take a look. What do you think? Okay, here we go. You should see that shadow moving just a little bit. Once you see something moving and you see some of those veins, you'll know that this is so far another viable embryo. This one's a little bit different. You're going to notice quite a bit more of a shadow in here. Okay, here is a different egg. You're going to see the veining in this one. This one I thought was really interesting because you can really see the vein and you can see a tremendous amount of shadow in here. That means that we have a little bit larger chicken inside of this one. Notice that big shadow inside of there. And as you kind of move this around, you're going to see that shadow get darker and darker. That means it is moving. Look at those veins. Look at that embryo inside of there. So we have another chicken incubating really well. That doesn't mean that these eggs are actually going to be able to hatch. It just shows that the incubation process is working. There is a possibility that they're not going to make it to the 21 to 25 day incubation process, but we're pretty hopeful. All right, let's see. This is one of our next eggs. This one I wanted to show you because it is pretty clear all the way around except for a black spot. That is not more than likely a viable egg. Pretty sure there are no veins, not seeing any kind of movement except a large black spot, which this little embryo is not developed. So it will be one that we will get rid of in this process, but take a look at that. No movement and quite a bit of empty space inside of this egg. All right, that you'll see that little clear spot at the bottom. That is the air pocket inside of the egg. And you'll notice in the incubator, there's a little tray that it sits in. and that tray kind of moves the eggs back and forth. It simulates the natural incubation process that the chicken would be doing on top of this egg. It kind of moves that little egg around so that that air pocket stays a particular size and it doesn't crowd the little embryo. All right, you'll see that shadow. There it is, and he's moving around in there. Out of the 18 eggs so far, it looks like we have about 10 that are going to have embryos that are working, that are developing. Again, it doesn't mean that we're necessarily going to have 10 completely hatch, but we are moving in the right direction. All right, what do you think about this one? Take a look. Make your best guess now that we've done a few of them. Do you see any movement? All right, good job. It gets a little easier after you've looked at a few. Great job, everyone.